That's a big one.
I'm about to take it's Murray or Randall Balapao.
No question. No question.
Okay, how about Balapao or Carlos Hyde?
Balapao.
Wow, hell no.
Balapao.
Over Carlos Hyde versus
the
Colts? I'm high on him too, bro.
I'm very high.
I got him 2 leagues.
Ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Good morning, everyone. My name is Omar T.
And I'm Abe Z.
And we are the Fantasy Guyz, and we're here to talk Fantasy Guys. We're coming to you live from Delight Cafe. And I'm going to introduce my big bro right here. Is Ali Thabit, a.k.a. Dr. Ali, a.k.a. The Pharmacist, coming with us this week. We appreciate him for coming on the show. But before he introduces himself or say any words, you know, we had a promise, we had a bet that we had to do, and so it's time to live up to it. As you can see, he's pretty much has the green on, still has Michigan hat on. But anyways, got the green right here. And of course, like we promised, it was a tough L. We're gonna break down the game afterwards. We gotta do the fight song. So if you have MSU fans, y'all can sing along with us. This is definitely a memorable moment for me for the rest of my life. I'm glad we have this recorded. Show my kids, future, all his kids too. Like he was an MSU fan once in his life. So let's get this fight song going. Hey, we gotta jump onto it. Hey. On the banks of the Leslie, there's a team that's known to all. Its specialty is winning, and the Spartans play good ball. Spartan teams are never beaten. All the game they'll fight for the only colors, green and white. All right, let's go. Let's start off the show. Appreciate that, Al. I guess
that
put this over here. Yes, we appreciate that. Again, now we can actually jump straight into the MSU U of M game. I guess I'm gonna start off with you. What are your overall thoughts on how that game went, man?
It was a ugly game, and Michigan lost. I mean, if you give a team 5 turnovers, I don't think and don't create any yourself. I don't think anyone has ever won any kind of football game. But the season is long. Michigan has other games where they have opportunity to make up for this loss. And hopefully, I wish both teams the best the rest of the season.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, it was a big win. The first drive when Michigan was driving, I was so surprised. I was like, man, this is not looking good so far. And then when we settled them for a field goal, I was like, okay, that's huge. And then from that point forward, we did our thing. You got any comments and concerns about the game?
Honestly, looking at the game, it was tough. It was like a defensive game, kind of like I expected in a rivalry. But I think the difference maker was the coaching.
Yes.
I think Mike D'Antonio out-coached.
See, disrespectful, man. Mike D'Antonio, man.
Mark.
See, hey, you know how people have tweeted out Mike D'Antonio? Writers have saying Mike D'Antonio, and
you know what? That's
the disrespect we constantly get. He's congratulating the coach.
He is respected in my eyes because I think Jim Harbaugh is overall a better coach.
You ain't calling Jim Harbaugh John Harbaugh, are you?
He's the better coach and he has the better team.
Who?
But Michigan.
Don't be disrespectful.
That's just my opinion. But Michigan State came to play and they were to me better coach, better play calls. That one trick play they did. That's the difference maker that'll win your game.
Hey, it was a huge one for MSU. Like I said, I was surprised. I mean, what the line was -13, Michigan, I think. So it was a big win for us. So I'm glad that happened. And for those of you that don't know the background, is my brother obviously graduated from U of M. I graduated out of MSU. So it's always nice when this game happens and we can get a little argument going on. And
we can have this bet when the Wayne State Warriors go against the Spartans.
When did that happen?
It's gonna happen.
Alright, so now it's time to move on to our fantasy because this is why we're here today. But before I do that, actually, the sponsors for this week is Infinity Drugs Pharmacy, which is a local family-owned pharmacy in Hamtramck, Michigan, offering personal one-on-one service and immediate and conventional delivery. Owner and my brother, Dr. Ali Thabit, is a resident of Hamtramck and is proud to give back to the community and serve the people who grew up with. Infinity Drugs Pharmacy is located at 11527 Joseph Campos Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. New building just opened up this past week, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yep, and is Provision coming soon?
Yeah, that'll be our neighbor where you can get your eyes checked, get some glasses, get some contacts, see an eye doctor, and you know,
Medicaid.
they accept everything.
They accept Medicaid.
They accept Medicaid.
And hopefully that's in a couple more weeks.
Yeah, so come see us, the pharmacy your family can trust. Again, that is our sponsor for the week. So now let's jump into the games. Let's start them and sit them. Guys, if you guys have any questions, feel free to shoot them. We'll try to answer them immediately. We got Munir Hedwan right there in the back. By the way, shout out to my man Munir. We appreciate everything you do. He's back there, and he'll shoot us the questions. First game, we got the Jets, who are probably one of the most surprising teams so far in the NFL, going against the 0-4 Cleveland Browns, guys. This game I saw in Vegas is a pick'em. So I'm going to let you guys pick them, basically. Who do y'all think, who do you guys have winning? I'm going to start off with you, Ali.
This game, I have the Jets winning. I just feel they have more established weapons. That's my opinion. But I think it's going to be actually a high-scoring game. They got, both teams are, the Jets are 2-2. Cleveland's 0-4. They're going to try to, get their first win of the year. But overall, I think the Jets are going to come out with it.
Yeah, I think it's actually going to be a good fantasy game. I really do think it's going to actually be a good fantasy game if you have players to start there, which is only like 3 or 4. Hey, what you think of who's going to win this game?
I'm also going to go with the Jets. I think their offense is going to be the difference maker. I think both defenses are kind of weak, and that's probably why they'll put up fantasy points on both offenses. But I think the Jets' offense is just a little better.
All right, so Abe, who you got starting for the Jets this week?
You know who I got, man. I got my man Bilal Powell.
Bilal
Powell, man.
Our man Bilal.
I was saying it last week. He's someone that's going to take advantage of Matt Forte being out. And he did it with 163 rushing yards last week with, I think it was 30 receiving yards.
Yeah,
so it was a huge game for him. Obviously, you wouldn't expect the same from him again this week, but he's going against the Browns. They got a little better against the run, but they're always susceptible to a big play. And I think Bilal Powell's going to be that guy.
Who you got starting for Cleveland, Big Al?
Well, being that it's the first week where they all have buys, and if you have a deep bench, hopefully you'll be all right. But if you don't, you might have players like Crowell or Duke Johnson that you might have to start. I'm not a big fan of any of the Browns fantasy players, but if one of those, I'd probably give Crowell a chance this week. I think this coach has confidence in him. And I think he'll be able to run a little bit up and down the field and give you some, at least probably put up what he was projected.
All right, I was gonna ask you guys who do y'all think is the better fantasy running back, Duke Johnson or is it Crowell? Because Duke Johnson's coming out.
Obviously, PPR going Duke Johnson. If it's standard, I'm going with
the Crowmaster.
I have to go with the Crowmaster because he's gonna get the goal line touches.
Yeah, all right. Moving on now, we're going to move on to our next game. Remember, guys, if you guys have any questions, shoot it to Munir. Oh, we do have a question?
Yeah, we got
all right, guys, before we go into this game, we got a question. Go ahead, Munir.
A question from Khaled Hussein 13. He wants to know Crabtree or Golden Tate.
Okay, you got Michael Crabtree, Oakland Raiders, and then you got Golden Tate. You got Golden Tate going against Carolina. Oakland's going against Baltimore. Baltimore stingy defense. Who y'all got?
I'm going Golden Tate.
Golden Tate?
I'm going to go. If you got Golden Tate, the Panthers secondary is going to be their weak spot. Obviously, they got a good rush defense, so if we're going to beat them, it's going to be through the air. And Golden Tate's Stafford's favorite weapon.
So. Who you got, Ali?
Yeah, I agree with him. I would pick Golden Tate over Crabtree. There's no Derek Carr.
Yeah.
You got E.J. Manuel starting over there. Even though I think he's still going to do all right, and Crabtree coming off that chest injury, who knows, he might be, 1 play, 2 plays, it could be injured.
Right.
So, yeah, and I agree with you. I think their run defense is going to be great. And I think the Lions are going to be able to pass on their defense.
I agree. I would also go with Golden Tate, Khaled. So, now to break down the game, got another question we need, or are we going to break down this game?
We got a question from Samir Al-Riyashi.
Okay.
Russell Wilson or Matt Stafford?
All right, Russell Wilson. They're going against the Los Angeles Rams, or Matthew Stafford going against the Carolina Panthers. I'm going to start off with you, Ali. Who do you have?
That's a tough one. Actually, I have Russell Wilson in my league too, and the only thing is that them and the Rams, they always have low-scoring games. Yeah. Even though they both been putting up points. This year, yeah. So that's where it's like, it's in Los Angeles, and I feel like it could go either way. But I feel like this game is going to be high-scoring, the Lions in Carolina. So I have to go with Stafford. I think at home he'll be able to give you what you need as far as your fantasy points.
I agree. I think Stafford is the guy to start. just because their secondary is the only thing you can really target, and I don't think Abdullah is going to really help the rushing game. Plus, you got Russell Wilson going against the Rams, and they always seem to play extra tough against the Seahawks. So I'm going with Stafford on this one.
I have to disagree. I'll go with Russell Wilson, man. I think that this game is going to be high scoring. I know we're used to low scoring games between the Rams and the Seahawks. But I like Russell Wilson. I think Carolina Panthers defense, that's the reason why they're 3-1 right now. Is they're sleeping on their defense. And it's going to be a tough game, I think, between the Lions and the Panthers. I see us winning, though. Which I guess we can break down now, the Carolina Panthers and the Detroit Lions. So 3-1 versus 3-1. The Lions, this would be another big win for us, obviously, as we know as Detroit fans. But Carolina, this will also be a huge win. I know you guys heard Cam Newton's comments to the lady throughout the week. So, I was telling OG, I was like, man, I have a feeling that's going to have like an effect on him. Like, what do you guys think? Like, do you guys expect Cam Newton to have a big game this week? Abe, I'm going to start off with you.
I don't think that's going to have an effect on him too much. I don't think that, once you're on the field, you don't really care about, comments that's not that big for him to affect him. But I think, do I think he's going to have a big game?
Would you start him in fantasy? That's I guess that's the question. Would you start him in fantasy this week?
No, because I think the Lions, I've heard them, they're going to game plan around stopping him. So I probably wouldn't start him.
How about you? Would you start Cam Newton in fantasy?
Probably not this week. I agree with what you mentioned earlier. I think it might be a distraction.
Yep.
Probably he'll struggle in the beginning. But overall, like if there's other options, I think I would try to look at. I probably even consider like Tyrod Taylor over Cam Newton this week.
All right, so going with that, who do you have starting for the Lions this week against the Panthers?
Definitely Stafford. Definitely Tate. I think this will be more. I think the Lions are going to struggle running. So there'll be a lot of short passes, a lot of passing. They're still going to put up points. So I think even this week finally we might see a little bit of Theo Riddick. Just so I don't know if he's startable, but I think he'll be able to he'll be effective this week.
And Munir Hidwan is listening to that right now and saying, "Oh man,
say no more."
All right, Abe, who you got going for Carolina?
For Carolina, I hate to say it, but I think he's gonna have his best game of the season, and
Kelvin?
Run CMC.
Run CMC.
That's your boy. I think Christian McCaffrey's gonna have a big game, and that's another reason because I think the Lions are gonna go extra, trying to stop Newton where they can't, they're gonna do some, probably some reverses or trick plays to McCaffrey and shifty running backs. I think the Lions struggle to stop, and I think he's gonna have a big game because of that. Probably even almost 100 receiving yards.
Would you start Calvin Benjamin with Darius Slay on him this week? He has not had good games this year, by the way. Just on the side.
I mean, I would still start him because he's not always gonna have Slay on him.
You don't think so?
I don't think he'll follow him because and Funchess is doing good too.
I think Funchess might
I think Funchess
might benefit from that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm playing against Funchess. All right, moving on to the next game. We got the San Francisco 49ers against the Indianapolis Colts. 49ers winless. Colts are 1-3. Indianapolis is at home. This is Frank Gore's home against his old team. I was gonna say homecoming, but actually they're not playing at San Fran. So playing against his old team, guys. What do you guys think? What are your expectations for Frank Gore this week? I'm gonna start off with you, Al.
I actually really like Frank Gore this week. He's one of those guys that. Every year you doubt him, and he's just going out there and
Father Time does not catch up to him.
And puts up numbers and runs hard. I like players like that. There's players that you could tell that he'll be ready when the game starts.
What are your expectations for Frank Gore, Abe?
I think he's gonna come up with something a little extra this week, just because he's going against his old team. But I don't think anything special. I think he's still gonna do what he normally does, probably around 6 to 12 points. Which is solid for a flex.
So who are you starting from San Francisco?
From San Francisco, man, this is a guy that I've been talking about a lot this year, Pierre Garçon. I've been seeing him on and off the waivers. People taking chances on him. That one big game got a lot of people wanting to get that back from him. But against the Colts, they give up 24 points to receivers. They're number 8th worst. So I think Garçon is the guy. There's not really that much other options in San Francisco. So I think this is a game where he'll bounce back, especially in PPR. He should get a good game.
How about you, Ali? Who you guys going for the Colts this week?
The Colts, I have Frank Gore starting this week. I also would start definitely Ty, and also would, depending on what you have, Moncrief. I think the Colts are gonna win.
That's a red zone guy.
And I think they started building a connection last week. He got a touchdown last week. So I think he'll continue. Now that Jack Doyle's out too, so
Doyle's out this week?
yeah, Doyle's
Didn't
out.
even know that.
You'll have more
Injury
targets
alert.
for Hilton and Moncrief.
Hey, Jacoby Brissett, by the way, is doing a solid job to me, in my opinion. For a guy that just came in, I think was week 1 he came in, or going
no
into that
training
week?
camp, no nothing. Yeah.
Nothing, and just went in, and definitely looking better than Scott Tolzien. It's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah.
Just let us know, Munir, if you have any questions about it.
Alright, we got a question from Waleed Z Boss. That's Waleed Zandani.
What up, Big Waldo?
He wants to know Alshon Jeffrey or Martavius Bryant.
Oh, that's a good one. You got Elshine is going against the Cardinals. Martavis, the Pittsburgh, is going against Jacksonville at home. Who you guys going? Who do y'all got?
I'm gonna start Martavius.
Yeah, I agree. Martavius Bryant, Waleed.
Elshon, I got him too. I think I have to start him because I don't have much of a
Patrick
bench.
Peterson's gonna
But Patrick Peterson.
Patrick Peterson's gonna be all up on him, and I think Martavis is. This is. I mean, you always say this might be the week he does it, but this is probably the week he is gonna do it.
Yeah, he's too good of a player to not have good weeks, man. Like, I think he's just starting off slow because he hasn't been in the game for a while. But I think Martavis Bryant will have a good week too.
And I think Jacksonville's defense is overrated. They haven't really played too many.
Go with
too many
Kobe's
teams.
cousin, Waleed.
Alright, how about Martellus Bennett at Dallas or Kyle Rudolph at Chicago? And that's from Waleed Oriyashi.
Martellus Bennett against
Dallas.
against Dallas Cowboys, the Sunday 4:00 game, and then you got Kyle Rudolph Monday night against the Bears. I would go Rudolph. Martellus Bennett to me hasn't proven anything yet, man. He's had a bad fantasy year this year. Kyle Rudolph at least had, I think, one game that was solid, and it's Monday night. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's always nice to have a player on Monday where you could be like, all right, he could give me this amount of points just to help me win. Like, I would go with Kyle Rudolph. I don't know about you guys.
The thing that's getting about Rudolph is he has Keenum, and ever since Keenum got in there, he's not getting.
He's not feeding him.
He's not. Yeah, he's not feeling him.
Keenum
He's
not
not
feeling
getting that. He's not getting that production that he was with Sam Bradford.
Martellus Bennett hasn't done anything
He's
yet.
getting receptions. He's getting like 6 receptions, but he's only getting 40 yards.
Yeah, man.
It's like he has no athletic ability. It's
Yeah,
like
it
catch and
sucks.
fall.
Yeah, he's getting those dump offs, but you just gotta. I think it comes down to with these two players who has a better chance of getting a touchdown. And believe it or not, I'm gonna say Bennett.
Bennett hasn't done anything,
I
bro.
think he hasn't even.
I just think he's.
I don't think he has a red zone target, bro.
Yeah, he had a touchdown this year.
He has a touchdown.
Let me double check.
Yeah, look that
No,
up,
actually,
man.
I don't think he has because
No
they're
touchdown?
saying like he'd be like the first player from like 3 different teams.
Yeah, that
or
will score a touchdown. That
No,
has
no
scored a
touchdown.
No touchdown,
It was
yeah.
a preseason game.
Probably.
Alright, so we're going to move on after this. Like I said, Munir, just let us know. Tennessee Titans will be without Marcus Mariota this week. Playing against the Miami Dolphins. Jay Cutler, very disappointing. I mean, this is why I thought they would not make the playoffs. Their true colors are starting to show only after week 3. Their week 3, after 3 games. So, guys, who do y'all have? This is a tough game. You guys got Miami Dolphins at home against Matt Castle. Like, what do you got going? I'm going to start off with you, Ali.
Well, this game, I think, the Miami has weapons and they have weapons all over the place, but man, Cutler, he's just something else, man. He's something else.
Something else.
I can't explain how horrible he is, and I would hate to play with him and stuff like that.
Wow.
So I would go Tennessee. I know Tennessee. They don't have Mariota, but I think they're gonna focus on the run. So I expect big games from Henry, and also from DeMarco Murray. And then I think, the whole Miami playing in London, not going on bye and coming back home, I think that's going to affect them, the whole time zone difference and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be, they're going to have a real slow start. And I think Tennessee is going to actually end up winning it by like a field goal or something.
I'm going to go with the home team on this one, Ali. I'm going to have to go with the Dolphins. I think if Mariota's playing, I'll obviously go with the Titans, but you got Castle versus Stafford, and to me that kind of cancels out. You got 2, good running games, and I'm gonna go with the home team. That's what separates them, and I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I'd see a big game from Ajayi this week.
All right. So I guess breaking it down now, Abe, I'm gonna start off with you. Who you got starting for Tennessee this week?
For Tennessee, man, I'm hearing a lot of people talking about trading or getting rid of DeMarco Murray because he's been a disappointment, but I think you guys should stick with him. Murray owners, I think this is gonna be a game where they're gonna feed him the ball. You got Mariota out. It looks like he's going to be raining, and I think it's just going to be the run type of game. When you got a quarterback like Castle that's coming in, that's going to pass the ball, run the ball a lot, and Murray's capable of big plays, believe it or not. So I'm going to go with DeMarco Murray. If you got him, don't even think about benching him.
Ali, who do you got going for Miami Dolphins this week?
I like Devontae Parker this week. I think he's a PPR monster, and I think he'll get those couple plays and might be able to break off one. Hopefully, Jay Ajayi does all right. Hopefully his knee's straight. If his knee's good, healthy, I think he'll have a good game too, running the ball.
How about Jarvis Lynch? Did you start him?
Like I said, man, I don't trust Cutler, man. If it was any other quarterback but Cutler, I would trust him. But yeah,
I would trust Cutler if it wasn't raining.
Let me ask you guys this: is the Dolphins better off with Matt Moore at quarterback or Jay Cutler?
I would say Matt Moore.
Matt Moore is safer to me, but Cutler is just that gunslinger that might, especially if you're down in a game. I think Cutler can get you back just with his risk taking. But
yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I didn't really watch the Saints game last week, but I don't know how they scored 0 points, and they're playing against the Saints.
If you look, the last couple of weeks.
Their offense has been
horrible.
It's ranked 32nd, as we can see right in front of us.
It's a very bad offense. I think, believe it or not, I think Cutler's going to have a solid game. I'm not going to say he's going to have a good game, but I think he's going to have a solid game. I think the Titans are not going to be able to hold the ball a lot. I think there's going to be a lot of 3 and outs, and Cutler's going to have chances.
All right, do we have a question? You're moving
Go
around. I don't know.
We got a couple of questions.
Okay. We're going to go questions, guys. Remember, questions are more important than the games. We care about you fans. We care about you guys out there.
Waleed got a question, Jimmy Graham or Bennett? And we got a question from Rafal Osuch. He wants to know Latavius Murray or Blunt.
Okay, so actually very good questions, both of them. You got, first of all, we're going to answer Waleed's question. You got Jimmy Graham going against the Rams, and then Martellus Bennett going against the Cowboys. This is also a tough one. 2 tight ends that haven't done anything all year. I'm going to start with you, Abe. Who would you go with?
Jimmy Graham, who's the other guy?
Martellus Bennett.
Martellus Bennett? I'm going to roll with Martellus.
Yeah, I would go with Martellus on this one, too.
Just because if they go against Dallas, I think Rodgers going to have a great game, and probably Bennett can be a part of it, especially with my man's Devontae Adams. He might play, and if he does play, you can expect him to produce. So I'm going to roll with Bennett just because I think Graham's probably going to be blocking a lot, too.
Who you got, Adi?
I disagree with you guys. I have Graham. Graham has had
Graham.
drops. He's had targets. He's had potential to have big plays. When he's kind of been missing them, and I think he has a higher ceiling than Bennett for sure.
That's true.
I think he should go back into playing basketball.
Yeah, both of them.
Right.
So then the next question was, Garrett Blount going against the Cardinals and Latavius Murray going against the Bears.
This one's easy.
No, it's not, because I know you're going to go Latavius.
You gotta go
Big on
Latavius.
Latavius. He is not even going to be the running back for the Minnesota Vikings even now. You're going to see that he's still hurt. He's still hurt.
Doesn't matter.
As long as Jared McKinnon's going to be healthy, he's going to end up with more fantasy points than Latavius.
McKinnon can't run through.
It doesn't matter. He's going to catch passes.
20 carries like Murray can.
Anyways, I'll go with LeGarrette Blount going against the Cardinals. I think that Wendell Smallwood is out.
Okay.
So LeGarrette Blount, I think he's going to get
Sproles,
15 to 20.
obviously.
Yeah, Sproles too. Who would you go with?
I'm a show me first before taking a risk on somebody. So I want to see him. I want to see him playing a game with Latavius Murray.
With me, I don't think Latavius is gonna have a great game.
Brian has a man crush on Latavius Murray.
No, I'm actually benching.
He scored 3 touchdowns for him in 1 week last year.
Yeah, he wanted the game.
And he got a man crush on Latavius Murray, bro.
I'm actually benching him in my league. I got him and Powell, so I'm leaning towards Powell because I'm
better lean towards Powell.
Right, Powell has a better situation, but if you're comparing him with Blunt, you just really have to hope Blunt gets like a touchdown because
Latavius Murray too. Same thing.
But the Bears are a lot easier to run on than the Cardinals.
But the Eagles got a better offensive line than the Vikings. Yes, they do.
Cook was cooking it up with that O-line.
Because Delvin Cook was a good running back, man.
Murray, the only reason he's not going to have a great game yet is because he's, it's his first game.
He's still not 100% healthy.
Right. His first game getting a full workload and he's not even healthy yet. So it's going to be like a 50-50 game for him. He's still going to be the guy that'll get you, 10 points. So to me, he's the safer guy to go with. If you want to take a risk with Blunt, it can probably pay off. I'm going to go with Latavius Murray.
All right. We got another one here.
Okay, we got 2 from David Farver.
Coach Dave. What up, Coach Dave?
I see you.
Hey, by the way, Monita, Coach Dave was disappointed. Like 1 week, he said he asked a question, you didn't do it. He thought it was a race thing. We need to let Dave know that we still love him.
That's why I said we got 2 from Coach Dave.
Dave is also known as Varys from Game of Thrones.
And also Charles Barkley too. He look like Charles Barkley. Go ahead.
All right, he wants to know Devontae Adams or Jaron Brown.
Okay, Jerome Brown, I think. All right.
And then Minnesota or Pittsburgh for his defense.
All right. So first of all, by the way, Coach Dave is our Week 7 host. So shout out to Coach Dave. We're looking forward to that. So he said Devontae Adams or Jerome Brown. Adams going against Cowboys. Jerome Brown going against the Eagles. And then Minnesota's defense going against Chicago. And he said Pittsburgh's defense. Is that what he said?
Yeah,
going against
Pittsburgh or
Jacksonville.
Minnesota.
So I guess we'll do one by one. So Adams or Jerome Brown. Who do you guys got? Adams coming off that scary hit, by the way, which was very
dirty.
inappropriate, dirty.
He
He should get suspended at least 8 games, half the season, 6 to 8 games, man. They only gave him one game. One game.
Yeah.
2, but they dropped it to 1. So
I
who
think
y'all go with?
I'm probably I got Jerron Brown as my sleeper this week. So I just
like
feel
him
like, you know, when you come off a hit like that, I don't know how many snaps he's gonna play, and you know, and actually Jerron Brown's been getting targets, especially the last couple of weeks. Even with John Brown coming back, he still had a good game last week.
By the way, you know Dave is gonna go hard on you guys if you guys get this wrong, because that's all he's been doing.
Dave, I don't think you can start Devontae Adams after that hit. I think the coaching staff are not really gonna. They might put him out there, but they're not really gonna target him too much. He might get a red zone target from Rodgers, but he's just not safe to play with Jerron Brown having a higher ceiling, higher upside. I'm gonna go with Jerron Brown, Dave.
All right, so quickly, defenses: Minnesota or Pittsburgh?
Minnesota.
Yeah, I'll go Minnesota too.
Division game versus the Bears.
And even though Pittsburgh is playing against Jacksonville, which I guess is a good matchup too, I
You
still
got
take
Leonard Fournette, he's
Minnesota.
gonna put up
I
points.
think he can't go wrong with either one of those.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Minnesota, Dave.
Just the
Don't
only
think
thing
about
that scares me is that I remember last year when Minnesota
Played
went to
in Chicago.
and Chicago just ran all over them.
Hey, Mitch Trubisky's first game, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
We'll break that down, I guess, when we get
All
there.
right, so we get the
We'll
Bills.
break that down. All right, we're gonna move on. Hold on to the questions. We're gonna move on right quick. Break down this Buffalo Bills against Cincinnati Bengals game. This is actually, to me, an interesting game. I think both teams are. They both have storylines, but both going the opposite ways. Buffalo surprising everyone in a positive way because they're 3-1. I can't believe that. They beat Atlanta, went into Atlanta. I know they were out with Julio and Mohamed Sanu, but still, to do that is impressive. Cincinnati is a storyline, is a surprise because they're 1-3. Not looking great, but last week they coming off their first one. So guys, who do you guys got winning? I'm gonna start off with you, Ali.
This game, man, I think I have the Bills, man. I think the Bills, they have actually a legit defense, and they'll control the tempo. They want the game to be low scoring, and I think Cincinnati, they did get their first win, but I feel that the Bills are gonna basically keep the game low and win by a small margin.
How about you, B.A.?
I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think the 3-1 record is a fluke. I think the Bengals defense is gonna show up at home. They're 1-3, but they're gonna be 2-3 by the end of this game.
All right, so who do you got starting this week for the Buffalo Bills?
For the Buffalo Bills, it's hard to say. I don't really like any of them. Obviously, you got to start LaShawn McCoy. Other than that, I think the Bengals defense is gonna come on hard. And if I have to start someone else, it'll be Charles Clay.
Yeah.
You got Jordan Matthews inactive, and Charles Clay is the de facto #1 option for Tyrod Taylor. So. That's a sleeper you can start this week.
How about you, Al? Who you got going for the Cincinnati Bengals?
I have definitely, AJ Green's the obvious start. I think Mixon might actually show up this week too. I think they're gonna finally commit to him, and he'll get a majority of the snaps, and I think he'll put up some nice fantasy numbers.
I think Mixon's a good running back. I just don't think the Bengals have a good offensive line. I think that's my thing. I think he's a good running back, and I also think he's going to be the man eventually by the end of the year. It's just the Bengals' offensive line is just not helping anyone right now. Moving on to the next one, we have the Los Angeles Chargers against the Giants. Both teams surprisingly are 0-4. I like the Chargers a lot going into this year. The Giants, I had going to the Super Bowl going into this year. Two teams, these are definitely the most disappointing teams right now in the NFL by far. 0-4 and 0-4. Guys, who do y'all see winning this game, man? Giants are at home, and it looks like it might be raining as well. So what do you guys got? I'm start off with you, Al.
I have the Giants winning. They're at home. They've lost some tough games. Same with the Chargers, but I just feel Eli and Odell, and I think their offense is gonna be able to put up some points against the Chargers.
I definitely agree with Al on this one. The Giants are gonna win it. They're both very disappointing. I think nobody would have guessed they'll both be 0-4 at the start of the season, but it's a home team, and to me, the team with the overall better defense, and we'll go with the Giants.
The crazy thing is one of these teams are gonna go 0-5.
I can't believe the Chargers are gonna be 0-5, or possibly the Giants. But nobody would have expected that.
No one would have expected that. So I'm gonna start off with you, Ali. Who you got starting for the Giants this week?
I got Eli starting. He's been putting up some, I know they've been losing, but he's been putting up some good numbers the last couple of weeks. Obviously, you start Odell, and I also have Sterling Shepard. I think he's gonna have a decent game. Even if you're looking for some tight end help, Evan Ingram, I think he'll be able to, he's been targeted a whole bunch the last couple of weeks, and I think he should be able to put up some fancy points.
Before we move on to the Chargers, Baron Marshall's starting to get a little more targets. Your boy Baron Marshall,
You
huh?
know I got him. We're gonna talk about him.
That's one of your boys at the end. Alright, so who you got going for the Chargers this week?
For the Chargers, I got my man Hunter Henry.
Henry,
Believe it or not, I'm seeing him on the waiver wire. I don't know why he's a free agent, and I see teams with tight ends like Jared Cook and just bat Jimmy Graham.
He's trying to get at you right now, man.
Hey, if you have Jimmy Graham, if you need tight end help, Hunter Henry is the best option right now at the tight end position. He's a free agent in a lot of leagues, and the Giants give up the most points to tight ends. They give up 15 points. I talked about Ebron when they played against them. Ebron put up good points against them. So, if there's ever a team to play against to start your tight end, it's the Giants. So
I agree with you on that.
Definitely start Hunter Henry, guys. Pick him up, start him. He's a great start this week, big time.
Yeah, just their tight end situation is so weird.
Gates will get that 1 yard touchdown. That's disgusting.
Steal it from Hunter Henry.
It doesn't matter. Still, this is a week you still start Henry no matter what.
Yeah, I agree. I can see Henry having a good game too this week, and the Giants are susceptible to the tight end as well.
Big time.
Munir, we got questions
We got a question from Zaid Al Hadday.
Alright,
go blue for Ali, and then he wants to know who's the better running back to have.
We lost him. We lost him at Go Blue for Ali, man.
He wants to know who's the better running back to have in Baltimore, West or Collins?
Man, that's a tough question. Who's the better running back to have in Baltimore? I'd go with the hot hand, but I'm going to let you know right now. Alex Collins is on a short leash. I read that on Yahoo, but not only that, I know how John Harbaugh works. I remember I had Buck Allen last year, and he was doing great, and then he fumbled, and he did not put him back in for the rest of the game, and he did not play for the rest of the season. So John Harbaugh is serious with the fumbling issue, and Alex Collins does have a fumbling issue. So I think it's Collins, but he's on a short leash, so it's tough.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's Collins. He has the most potential from the three, but man, that whole running back situation over there,
that's one to avoid.
I think the real question is more.
Why do you have those running backs, and why do you think
Alex Collins is a solid sleeper, but it's either Collins or Javorius Allen. I think Javorius Allen is a bigger threat to him, especially as a receiving back.
Yeah.
But I think Alex Collins is the guy to own.
Yeah, and also don't sleep on Danny Woodhead. He's gonna come back eventually, and I think he's gonna be the guy immediately as soon as he comes back. When he does come back, I'm just throwing that out there in the future. Do we have another question?
Question from Khaled Hussein 13. He wants to know Rams defense or the Carolinas defense.
All right, so Rams going against Seattle at home, Carolina against Detroit. Who do you guys have?
I got the Rams.
You start the Rams.
Like we said, they come out against the Seahawks. So
they do.
If it works, if it's a formula you see, go with it. I think the Lions or the Panthers defense?
The
Panthers. I think they're gonna be solid, but I think the Lions at home they're gonna find a way to put up points. Prater will probably put up 15 points himself, so I'm definitely gonna go with the Rams.
How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think the Rams, like I said, you go with history, and I really think the Lions. Yeah, they might be able to stop the run against them, but I think the Lions will be able to pass against Carolina.
I agree. Yeah, I also go with the Rams. Now let's move on with this Jacksonville against Pittsburgh Steelers game. This is an interesting game to me. Jacksonville, it's hard to figure these guys out, man. They have a huge win against Baltimore and London. I'm thinking like, okay, they might be the real deal. And they come back the next week and lose to the Jets, a Jets team that I didn't have high expectations for going into this year. And then you got Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm waiting for one of these AFC teams to show up. To say that they're I still don't believe Kansas City is the head honchos in the AFC just yet. Pittsburgh, I feel like they could do it. Still kind of skeptical about it. So who do you guys got going for this game? I'm gonna start off with you, Al. Pittsburgh or Jacksonville?
Pittsburgh at home, for sure. This is a game where I think Pittsburgh is gonna show their muscle and their strength and get it all together. And I love Big Ben. I can't bet against him at home.
Yeah, you're right. He is hot at home. How about you, Abe?
I think this one is going to be a lot closer than people expect. The only reason why I'm not going with the Jags as a sleeper this week is because their offense is just horrendous. You just can't, other than Leonard Fournette, you can't, put any money on Bortles. So I'm gonna give the edge to the Steelers this game.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna pass. I think Marquise Lee's gonna be out this week. He's playing this week. Okay. So yeah, it's just rough. So I guess going off that, who do you got starting this week?
For the Jags, man, the only reason why I say I put them in this game. First, let me say Leonard Fournette is the only guy I will start. Hearns and Lee they're not. They might get you a touchdown if you're lucky in 20 yards, but you can't bank on them. There's better receivers out there like John Brown or whatever. But the sleeper for the Jags, believe it or not, against this high-powered offense, I'm gonna go with their defense. They've been hot. They got, I think, 17 points 2 weeks ago and then 16 points last week. They're just a defense that, you can start them, pick them up off the waiver if you have a bye, like the Broncos or defense or something. They're a defense you can pick up that I think they'll be, believe it or not, they're going to be a good defense against the Steelers this week.
I just want to let you know, Adi was shaking his head as soon as you started talking about their defense.
I'm telling you, the Jags' defense are no joke.
Yeah, they are. I like them. Adi, who you got going for Pittsburgh other than the obvious ones, Bale and Brown?
Yeah, I mean, those are the obvious ones. I think finally, I think earlier in the week, Brown was complaining. He has been fantasy-wise disappointing this season. I think it's gonna help him, get more targets and stuff like that, and we're gonna see what he's gonna do. But yeah, I mean, you really go with I would go with also. I think Martavis Bryant's finally gonna have a really good game this week too. So I definitely would start him.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, guys, when you're having a good time flies. It's already 12:08, so we're gonna have to speed this up a little bit. Do we have questions, Manny?
Question from Fahmi Hussein.
What's up, Tone? You all right, Tone?
Gallman or McKinnon?
That's a great question. He said Wayne Gallman from the Giants, who's the starting running back right now for the Giants. I'm going against the Chargers. Or Jerry McKinnon Monday night going against the Bears. Both of them are good pickups to me, by the way. Both of them are solid pickups, so it's nice to have on your team. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna start. Go ahead, Ali, if you want to jump on this first.
Well, yeah, I think you mentioned it earlier about McKinnon. I think he might. I think he's gonna be all right, and he'll get a lot of the some of the passing catches. So PPR wise, I think he might be able to. I think I don't believe in both of them.
Yeah, both of them are tough starts,
but
I'll
probably go between the two. I'd go McKinnon.
Yeah, just because I like Monday night games.
I disagree.
Because
I disagree.
Latavius Murray, man crush.
Latavius Murray. I mean, you gotta hope McKinnon gives you a big play, like a screen pass like what Chris Thompson did a couple weeks ago. That's the best case scenario I can see for McKinnon. But for Gallman, you got Orleans Darkwa injured, and you got Perkins out. So you put him in
Percocets, Paulie
Percocets, he's out. So you got my man's Gallman, man. He just came out of the blue. He's gonna have a key role in their offense, and the Chargers are giving up the eighth most points to running backs, which is I think 21 fantasy points. That's a lot of fantasy points for one guy to try to get. And obviously they're in the goal line, the red zone. He's gonna have opportunities. I think he's a big sleeper this week. If Gallman's on your free agency, you have some bye weeks. He's a deep sleeper you should definitely consider.
The reason why, because the Giants running backs haven't proved anything yet.
It doesn't matter.
I hope that he does do something.
That means the Chargers are not going to game plan too much to stop it, and that gives him an opportunity to run big.
I mean, the Eagles just ran all over them last week, so the Gallman should be the better star. It's just Giants haven't proved anything yet. Let's just jump on to the next game, guys. We got the Cardinals and the Eagles. Forget breaking down any questions. Let's just see who you guys want to start for this week. Abe, I'm going to go straight to you first.
It's a battle of the birds.
Yes.
But I'm going to go with my man, Jerron Brown. Like we were talking about, he's getting more opportunities, more chances in this offense. And when a guy like Carson Palmer starts to believe in you, you get opportunities. So I think Jerron Brown is a guy you want to start this week against the Eagles.
Who you got going for the Eagles?
This one, I have the Eagles winning. And I have their defense starting for sure. Because I feel like, they'll be able to get to Carson Palmer.
Yeah, and they're one-dimensional.
If they get to Carson Palmer, the game could be lopsided easily. And then I have Zach Ertz for sure. I think, Patrick Peterson is going to lock down Alshon. But I think Zach Ertz will be able to get to the seams. and get some catches over there. And then I actually have Blunt starting too. I know they are a lot down on them. They're gonna have Blunt and I think Clement as their only 2 running backs, so they're gonna get split the carries depending on how the game is going. I think Blunt could definitely be the one that's gonna like ice the game and maybe go one in the end zone.
By the way, guys, watch out for Corey Clement. That's a name you guys could maybe stash for later. I like him. We know him from college. We know him from college. He's a Wisconsin boy, so Wisconsin, they produce running backs. So watch out for him, man. If he has a good game, I can see him pushing. I can see him. And Melvin Gordon, James White.
Yeah.
Come on, they're running back. They're a good running back. Good running back score. So moving on to we got Mooney waving his hand in the back right there.
2 questions from the same person: Lamar Miller or Bell, and then Des Bryant or Fitzgerald.
Bell.
Le'Veon Bell? I mean,
he just threw out Bell.
Okay.
You know what? That's a quick bell.
Yeah, I mean, that's no question.
I think you might be hearing some bells.
Yeah, his ears might be ringing. I don't know what's going on. Your ears will be ringing if you don't start Le'Veon Bell. I'll tell you that right now.
That's for sure.
And then what was it, Dez or Fitzgerald?
Yeah.
All right, so you got Dez Bryant going against the Packers and then Fitzgerald. I think Dez Bryant all day. He loves playing against the Packers.
Dez Bryant all day.
I'm playing against
He's getting
Dez.
a lot of targets.
Yeah. I see a big week for Dez. I think
what's that one cornerback on the Philadelphia is probably going to be shadowing Fitzgerald?
Roby, I think, from Buffalo Bills. Is it Roby that came from?
No, that's Darby.
Darby.
Yeah.
Darby.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darby. So, I hope that's not the case because I got Fitzgerald going, by the way, in both of my leagues. But I still start Dez over Fitzgerald all day. 4 o'clock games, moving on. This is, to me, the one I'm circling. I really want to watch this game. I'm big on the Rams, man. I love the Rams, guys. But we won't break down the games. We'll just talk about fantasy right now. Seahawks. Ali, I'm actually going to start with you with the Rams. Who do you start this week for the Rams?
You definitely start Gurley. I know, Seattle's, their defense has always been tough. I think this year they've just been kind of leaky. Running backs and also
Gurley's been killing it.
And Gurley's been.
Would you say it's too early to call Gurley the MVP?
No, it's not too early to call Gurley the MVP. Who else would you put over?
He's definitely the offensive.
Brady's always a guy you can put.
Okay, but Brady is 3-2. With the Rams are shocking everyone right now.
I think he's the favorite right now.
Yeah, right now he's the favorite. And not only that, by the way, since we're passing out awards, Sean McVay, Coach of the Year, already 3-1. Coach of the year.
Do see
I don't care what anybody
Gurley
says.
coming down from
Yeah, eventually because he's putting up ridiculous numbers.
This is the game against the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's putting up ridiculous numbers. But Anthony Lynn is my second one from Buffalo. But Sean McVay is what he did to this offense. This offense was terrible last year. Jared Goff looked like a bust, and now he's actually people got him on fantasy teams. Your brother Zach and Danny has him on his fantasy team. Shout out to Zach. Yeah, so I'm just letting you know. He's on a fantasy team, so he went from a bust to being on a fantasy team.
Right.
Solid. So that's why Sean McVay, I think, is definitely the coach of the year, head coach of the year candidate for sure, in my opinion. Did you break down teams right now?
Yeah.
Who you got with Seattle?
For Seattle, man, I gotta stick with my guns. I'm gonna go with Eddie Lacy them boots up.
Oh man.
If you got Eddie Lacy, Pete Carroll's talking about he's gonna be the starter. Obviously he's gonna split with Rawls, but Rawls was a healthy scratch a couple of games ago against the Colts, and that was for a reason. He might come out hungry. That's the only thing that might give Rawls the better chance. But I'm gonna go with Eddie Lacy. You got Pro Size out, so.
What about McKissick? Do you think?
McKissick's gonna be the passing guy, but I'm gonna go with Eddie Lacy.
All right. By the way, guys, first of all, Brian needs to realize this is fantasy. He has personal relationships with some of these players, man. Eddie Lacy, Latavius Murray, man. You gotta let these things go, bro.
I mean,
you gotta let these things go.
It's gonna be a running game. I think it's gonna be too much blitzes and stuff like that in this type of defensive game. So I think that they're both just gonna rely on the run.
What did Zach and Daddy say, by the way, Mooney?
Oh my, I dropped golf last night.
Hey, he had him on his fantasy team.
I knew it.
I appreciate you tuning in,
best
by the
thing
way,
you've done.
Zach. Hey, he had him on his fantasy team, though. That's the important thing. We got
Quick
a question.
Mixon or Murray?
Joe Mixon going against the Bills. Are we still talking about Latavius Murray, man? I'm sick and tired of hearing this guy's name right now, man.
Yeah, you know what? Go with you know what? Go with Latavius Murray. I would definitely consider with Mixon, but you got Bernard and Jordan Hill there. They're always gonna cut into his production. So, I mean, Latavius is gonna be new to this full workload, but he's a guy that you can just throw in there as a flex.
Who would you go with, Murray or Mixon?
I I think I'd go with Mixon just with the potential and stuff like that. I know he's sharing the backfield. Like I said, I have to see Murray out there. I mean, because whatever I've seen so far, and
he's definitely been horrible. But
in this case, I would start Latavius Murray. I would agree with Ali that you have to watch and see, but Mixon in the offensive line. But Buffalo's defense is the real deal.
Yeah, their run defense is good.
Yeah, their run defense is very good. So that's why I would go with Murray if I had to. But what are you laughing back there, Munir, for? What they saying back there?
Zach wants to know if he should start Winston or Tom Brady.
See, you know what, Zach? We're just gonna have to. There you played.
Hey, I know that's the point, man.
Joe, he's talking about next week. Yeah. So wait till next week.
Hey, for the Murray, it was DeMarco.
Oh, wow.
It changes everything.
Okay, yeah, that does. DeMarco Murray all day.
Yeah,
I think all agree
for sure.
By the way, the Rams give up the #1 most fantasy points to running backs. That's why I picked Eddie Lacy.
Stop.
They give up the most points to running
That
backs.
just means Thomas Rawls, Munir. Lacy is
Rawls,
not a running back.
don't get me wrong. I think Rawls, if he comes out hungry, if he's mad about being
Pete
benched,
Carroll said that he's running the ball like he wants to be the guy. So it's time to give him that chance.
why was he a healthy scratch?
I feel like he hasn't done anything yet.
He was a
He
healthy
hasn't had an
scratch.
opportunity
He was a
yet.
healthy
I know,
scratch.
that's what's scary though.
Right, like if you're not even playing, it's kind of like T.J. Yeldon in the Jaguars.
But
If
you
you're
know
not
why
playing,
too? You gotta think about it. Sometimes teams have a lot of pride. They paid Lacy, so it's like we gotta play this guy.
He's making the weight. He's like, I don't know if he's
Hey,
boxing.
we got 4 games. We got 4 games left, and there's 12 minutes according to our time. So we gotta keep this moving. I need Baltimore and Raiders. I'm sorry, you got the Raiders. Who are you starting for the Raiders this week?
This week for the Raiders, I think there's gonna be like a pass happy game. I think EJ Manuel is gonna be able to pass on Baltimore. I think they're gonna come out to win. As far as who would I have to start, I think this one's gonna be kind of shared around. I think hopefully Amari Cooper finally shows up. I know he's been horrible this whole year.
I wouldn't say bust.
So far, he's been a bust. I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm not really.
Jared Cook. Did you start Jared Cook?
I think the ball's gonna be shared, so someone's gonna get a touchdown. Someone's gonna definitely get a touchdown.
Half the show is shout outs to Mini, by the way.
But yeah, I just still feel like Oakland at home. I think EJ Manuel's gonna be able. I think he's probably gonna be rushing touchdowns and stuff like that. I think they're gonna come out to win.
All right, hey, we got for Baltimore.
I would say Alex Collins just because he's the guy. He got 80 yards the last 2 weeks. He did get fumbles, but he's still getting opportunities. But I'm gonna go with Joe Flacco. Believe it or not. Joe Flacco, man, he's a guy that they're going against the Raiders. I think they're gonna beat. They're gonna get the ball a lot because I don't think the Raiders are gonna keep the ball possession too much. So I think Flacco's a guy that might have a breakout game this week, and that's a guy he's a deep sleeper. If you're just struggling on quarterback, you need someone. Joe Flacco.
Big game. This is the big Sunday 4 o'clock games. Cowboys, Packers. Always a great game when they play against each other. Room for the Cowboys to beat the Packers because we want the Packers to get away from us a little bit, get some nice separation. Al, I'll start off with you. Who are you starting for Dallas?
For Dallas, you definitely Dak Prescott. Some people I know they probably have to bench their quarterback, so he'll definitely get spot start. I think he's gonna have a great game. You have to go with Zeke. I think this is gonna be a nice high offensive scoring
shootout game. Yeah.
It's probably gonna be my favorite game this week that I want to watch. Definitely go. I think even
Went spin.
If you need tight end help, I think he's a good spot start.
Yeah.
Like I said, I feel like this game is gonna be in the 30s.
Hey, Green Bay. Quick question: starting Aaron Jones this week. The real backup for the Green Bay Packers, by the way, Aaron Jones. Are you starting him this week?
If you need him, start him. Why not? I mean, if you need him, but if you got like someone like Latavius Murray in there, if you got someone like Latavius Murray, you throw him in there.
You would start Latavius over Aaron Jones this week?
Yes.
You're crazy.
I would. I would definitely
crazy.
do it because I see
We're going to take this stat down at the end of the week. We're going to talk about this.
This is going to be the only reason why Aaron Jones might have a game if he gets like 2 quick rushing cuts. Like Gillislee can be the #1 running back just because he gets 3 rushing cuts.
What scares me is for real, what's coming out of Green Bay is that Aaron Jones might be their running back of the future too. And I have Montgomery. That's what's scaring me is what I'm trying to tell you guys. That what I'm hearing is they really do like Aaron Jones. And I'm just telling you, watch out for Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones is a fluke. The real guy is Jamal Williams. If there's a backup, but we'll talk about that once that goes on.
No, it's not. But all right, moving on to this. Did you already? I'm sorry.
We did not do the Green Bay Packers.
Go ahead. Who do you got for
the
Green
Packers? I got my man Martellus Bennett. You got Devontae Adams. Probably, if he's not out, he's not going to be a factor. Jordy and Cobb are going to be, highly involved, but I think Bennett is the guy that's going to really take the production over.
How about Geronimo?
Geronimo Allison is a deep sleeper.
Yeah.
He's a deep sleeper. He had 122 yards against the Bengals a couple weeks ago, but
he had a good game against. Remember last year against the Cowboys in the playoffs.
He did. That was the game he came onto the scene.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be a week for Bennett. He had 6 receptions. He didn't do too much yards, but this is his old team. This was his first
team.
This was his first.
This was when he was blocking and he didn't know about catching passes.
You know what he's about to show them this week, that he was a guy that could have been catching the ball. I think Rodgers is the type of player that likes to get his players points against their old teams. You kind of understand that, but go with Martellus Bennett.
All right, let's move by these quickly because I know we have a couple more questions. We got about 8 minutes left, guys. Kansas City, Houston. Who you got going for Houston this week?
Houston, I have Deshaun Watson.
All day.
To start him for sure. And then
Will Fuller. Would you start Will Fuller?
I think Will Fuller is gonna have a great game. I think him and Hopkins are gonna have good games.
All right, running back. By the way, Miller. You going Miller too or no? Is it Miller time or it's not Miller time?
I think this week he'll pass on Miller. But if you have to start him, you gotta play him. But yeah, I think this might be Kansas City's trap game. I think Houston might be able to pull out this.
That's what I was gonna say quickly, but that's afterwards.
The only player I would start, I know that I'm gonna Texans, but it would be DeAndre Hopkins just because he's too much potential to bench. But I see this game as being, the Chiefs being the thieves. They're gonna get a lot of turnovers. I think their defense is gonna be the defense of the week. Watson, he's doing great right now, but I think this is gonna be the defense to stop him. You got Marcus Peters who you can't throw to. You got that D-line, Tom Bradley. I think they're gonna really,
Who you got starting for Kansas City?
Because I got the defense.
That's all you have going right now?
That's the defense I got going.
Okay.
I've been there a little away.
No Hunt, no.
You're obviously starting Hunt and Hill
Obviously,
and Kelsey.
yeah.
Those are all obvious ones.
Right, yeah.
Let me tell you something. Hey, I see Houston winning this game. It's Sunday night. Think about all that's happened. They're going to be hyping it up. This is the primetime game for Sunday. Deshaun Watson, his show-out game to show the world that he's the real deal. It's going to be a good game to me, but I see Houston winning this. Like Ali said, I think it's like a trap game. Nobody's probably expecting it, but Houston coming out on top. Monday night game, probably the most boringest game so far for this week is the Minnesota Vikings against the Bears. So I guess quickly, Ali, who you got going for the Bears?
I think Tariq and Howard, you definitely could start.
Start both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Trubisky, they're gonna ease him in.
How about Zach Miller?
Zach Miller, I think he'll be a nice, nice little spot, nice little place where you could dump it down to him, so he'll be able to. I think he'll be all right.
Ibrahim, who you got going for Minnesota?
I'm gonna surprise a lot of people. It's Latavius Murray. It's Latavius Murray. This is gonna be. I know the Bears do have a solid rush defense, and they are at home. But I think Latavius Murray is gonna have too much opportunities to not capitalize on.
All right. So before we do our sleepers, I'm gonna quickly run down Again, our sponsor this week is Big Bro right here, Infinity Drugs Pharmacy, which is a local family-owned pharmacy in Hamtramck, Michigan, offering personal one-on-one service and immediate and conventional delivery. Owner, Big Bro, Dr. Ali Thabit, is a resident of Hamtramck and is proud to give back to the community and serve the people he grew up with. Infinity Drugs Pharmacy is located at 11527 Joseph Campos Street, new building. You should go check it out. Infinity Drugs Pharmacy, come see us, the pharmacy your family can trust. So, before we move on to the sleepers, questions come first. Do we have any questions right now? Anything going so far as he is getting ready right now, guys? Ali, I'm gonna quickly mention who are your sleepers that you probably didn't mention for this week.
Well, a couple that I didn't mention. I think Eli. I know I mentioned it earlier, but I like Eli this week. I like Jerron Brown this week, and also like Cobb this week. And as far as running backs, I like Frank Gore this week. I think they'll all be good fill-ins, especially since you got some of your good players on bye week. I think they'll be able to both fill in and help you get that win. So
you said Eli going against the Chargers, Jerron Brown going against the Eagles, you got Randall Cobb going against the Cowboys, and then Frank Gore going against his old team, the 49ers. Those are all, to me, solid starts too. Hey, who you got for sleepers?
I only got 2 sleepers this week, and that's the Bengals defense against the Bills. I think the Bengals defense is going to have a big week. Their defense you can pick up off the waivers, and the Bills, I think they just don't have an offense that, they're going to put up points. So I got the Bengals defense, and then I got Brandon Marshall. I'm still high on him. He had 10 targets and 11 targets the last 2 games, and he's getting the targets. He's getting that more comfortable with Eli Manning, and I think this is going to be the week where he actually gets his touchdown.
Problem is he's got those T-Rex hands though.
He does. I don't know what's going on, but I think
He did a T-Rex.
If the lights, if the lights don't get in his eyes, I think he'll be alright.
Hey, by the way, damn, I forgot what I was about to say about that. But yeah, man, I think Brandon Marshall should have a good week too this week. And I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with him. Munir, head one, guys. We got like 3-4 minutes left. Shoot questions.
We got a question from Mohammed Babukar.
Okay.
Crabtree or Tyrell Williams?
All right, Michael Crabtree going against Baltimore. Tyrell from Los Angeles going against the Giants. Who you guys got going? Crabtree coming off an injury. That's a tough one to
You
me.
go with Tyrell Williams.
You go
I'm
Tyrell?
gonna go with Tyrell Williams because he has his quarterback, and I think Janoris Jenkins might be all over Keenan Allen. So Tyrell Williams is just a better option. You got EJ Manuel. I think what makes Crabtree good is with Carr. Trust him. He throws him up those red zone targets, and without that, especially coming off an injury, I'm going Tyrell Williams.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think they haven't built a rapport yet with
EJ Manuel.
EJ and Crabtree, and I think Janoris Jenkins is gonna shadow Keenan Allen. And
So if you're feeling Keenan,
Go with Keenan.
beware.
All right. Who you got? What else we got, Munir? Anything going on right now?
Jared Cook or Jimmy Graham?
All right. So we got a question right now. We got Jared Cook going against Baltimore, and then Jimmy Graham going against the Los Angeles Rams. Who do you guys got?
This is gonna be Hunter Henry. He's
Stop.
probably a free agent in your league. Go pick him up. Don't start none of those guys.
Listen,
Please don't start none of those
Brian,
guys.
you got to answer the question right now.
I'm gonna go with Jimmy Graham, but don't start either of them.
Okay, go ahead. I'm going to say my comment after you.
Yeah.
Jared Cook or Jimmy?
I would have to go with Jimmy too.
Listen, I'm all about Jared Cook, guys. EJ Manuel, he's a backup quarterback. He's like a rookie quarterback. They love their tight ends. Watch the game against Denver last week. Watch the last quarter when he came in. All he did was target Jared Cook all day. And it's a better matchup, Baltimore. Baltimore's giving up, I think, the 8th most points to the tight ends. Jared Cook, I can see him scoring 1 touchdown, getting 10, 11 points, solid game. So I think Cook is the way to go. Jimmy Graham, again, he's part of that category of hasn't proved anything all year yet.
He's gonna do it for the Graham.
All right, so basically, yeah, guys, we got about 2 more minutes left. Feel free to shoot any question. Well, actually, on my laptop, we have 1 minute left.
1 minute left.
So,
Guys, this is priceless advice.
Yes. If we
You
have
got your
any
chance
questions,
to win a fantasy game.
by the way, we thank you guys for also tuning in. And also next week, I'm gonna have the principal of Hamtramck High School, Mr. Veronik. Yes, sir. Mr. Veronik will be on the show.
He's gonna be right
So
behind
we're
me.
looking forward to that. Munir, you got a question for us, right?
I did have a question. It's from Abdullah Kusuri.
Okay.
He wanted. This is actually gonna go Friday, and it's about the Michigan game
Wow.
from
Alright.
last night. He wants to know why Harbaugh didn't start the better quarterback in Brandon Peters yesterday.
Good question.
That is a good question. I think Harbaugh is, as far as when it comes to the quarterback, he's a former quarterback himself. He probably likes, someone that has a little experience, especially for a big game like yesterday. So I think he has a hard time. And I know he did do well in the preseason, and he did do well in training camp. But I think that's why he kind of went with O'Corn, because he's got that experience, played the whole season and stuff like that. I mean, he definitely made some questionable
If they had
calls.
Jake Rudock, they would have won.
Stop. Anyway, let me tell you something, by the way. I hope Citi's not making that as a legitimate excuse of why Michigan lost the game, by the way.
I'm sure he is.
Because I hope that's not the case. Both teams didn't look great. It just MSU just made a little bit more plays than Michigan did, I feel like, in that game. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Ali, we appreciate you coming. See,
I appreciate it.
and when you have fun, time flies, man. It's already 12:30. It's almost that time for the game.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yes, and remember, I hope you guys have a great week in fantasy, and we are the Fantasy Guys,
And we're talking fantasy.
and we're here to talk fantasy, guys. Thanks again for tuning in.
Thank you.
Good?
Yeah,
Smooth, right?
it was nice.
Everything's smooth. As long as the camera's smooth.
Guys.
But yeah, man.